Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. It would seem that the day and age that we are currently living in, comedy is outlawed. Or if you make a joke about somebody or something that they love and they worship and etc., you can get cancelled for that. I know Isaac Butterfield, the comedian here in Australia. Many of you watching this may know who he is. If you don't, definitely check out his stuff. He's quite funny and he's not entirely woke or woke at all, I don't believe. Which I happen to really appreciate. Nevertheless, he was taken to, I believe it was the Human Rights Commission over a joke that someone deemed to be offensive, and they wanted Isaac to apologize for the joke and undergo some sort of training because he made a joke. Now, personally, I may not find some jokes funny. Doesn't mean you're not allowed to say it. I mean, that's why we live in a democratic free speech sort of society. But if you are to be taken to a court of sorts for making a joke that someone deems as offensive, I think you've got a massive problem on your hands in society. It's usually the fall of society. People start coming after, guess who? The jesters, the ones that make the jokes, because people deem it to be offensive. Like, you're not allowed to laugh. You don't have a funny bone in your body anymore. Like, what's happened to people nowadays? And unfortunately, that's happened to the likes of Joe Rogan. And a lot of people are trying to get him cancelled because he apparently mocked trans people, COVID vaccine, in his new comedy special on Netflix, which happened to do extremely well. But, you know, the mainstream media hate people like Joe Rogan that now stand for truth and reason and rationale. And, well, they're trying to get him cancelled as much as they possibly can, because you're not allowed to mock trans people nowadays, and you're not allowed to mock the COVID vaccine, because we all know how much good that actually did us as a society, don't we? My goodness me. Now, personally, I don't think it would be a wise thing. Like, I'm for all sorts of jokes and comedy things, except when it comes to mocking God. I mean, I think you should be wise and leave that off the table. I mean, I'm not going to find it funny because I'm a Christian, but I'm not going to say that you can't say it. I'll just say be very, very careful if you were to say such a thing, because we all know what happens when you mock God. I mean, we even saw the Paris Olympic ceremony that was an absolute travesty and a huge mockery. And we've seen all the crazy events that have unfolded with the Olympics. Oh, my goodness me. But anyway, let's have a look at what's happened to Joe Rogan. So Joe Rogan never holds back, and that's one of the reasons why I happen to like him and like listening to him speak on his podcast. The 58-year-old comedian and podcaster's new Netflix special, Burn the Boats, premiered Saturday night and is filled with jokes about the transgender community. Why? Because it's a whole lunatic. It doesn't make any sense, the whole transgender stuff. That's why people are making a great deal of jokes about it. It's a lot of material you can get from it, and also the COVID-19 vaccine and much, much more. But we're just going to focus on the transgender community and the COVID-19 vaccine, according to the New York Post, because you know what? Those are the two most controversial things that Joe Rogan actually spoke about. He spoke about a lot more, but those are the two things that we know that people or they see it as rather hot topics, hot button topics. You're not allowed to go anywhere near the transgender people and make fun of them because they are so sensitive. Can't make fun of your identity. Oh, goodness me. What's going to happen if you make fun of my identity? The whole world's going to collapse and fall. I mean, sometimes you just wish you could say to people, grow the hell up, please. It would just be nice at least once. So many people are walking on eggshells nowadays. It's ludicrous. I'm getting sick and tired of it. You can't have a conversation with anyone these days without, I guess, feeling like you've offended them in some way, shape, or form. And that's dumb. Man, as a kid, you didn't really care too much. You'd say all kinds of crazy stuff. Anyway, Rogan, who had previously made headlines for some of his controversial views that he's discussed on his popular podcast, it's only controversial because he's popular, said during the stand-up show that America has become too accepting of trans people. They run the show. They run everything nowadays. Like, you just look. You don't have to look too hard or too far to see that the White House is covered in LGBT paraphernalia. Like, We've become way too accepting. It's true. I just want to be real clear. I believe in trans people, he said, because I think the world is strange and nature is strange, and nature can throw you a curveball and you believe you're in the wrong body. And I fully support your right as an alt to do whatever you want that makes you happy. I believe in freedom and I believe in love, but I also believe in crazy people. I do too. I do too. Joe, well done. I believe in crazy people as well. I'm open-minded. I just want you to know what happened, he continued. It's almost like a pervert wizard waved a magic spell on the whole world. With a wave of his wand, you can walk into the woman's locker room with a hard cock, and anybody who complains is a Nazi. Abracadabra, and it just works. It's so true. And it's like you can also be a biological male now and enter into the boxing arena and beat the living crap out of a woman. And guess what? Abracadabra. It's no longer considered male violence against women because the person is identifying as being a woman, even though he's not. How about that? It's like the world's gone nuts. The world's gone mental with this kind of stuff. It's like the sanity has now become or been changed and now become insane. And the gaslighting is very, very real to the point where you think you're crazy for believing in the truth. Like, it's unreal, isn't it? Rogan went on and everyone just accepts this new reality. Well, I don't. Unfortunately, if you don't accept this new reality, you get bloody cancelled for it. And it's effing weird. I just think we need standards. I agree. You can't just put lipstick on and now you can SHIT in the women's room. The former Fear Factor host also mocked gay men, saying, I think about gay men the same way I think about mountain lions. I'm happy they're real, but I don't want to be surrounded by them. They're a bunch of dudes who have dudes. I don't like my chances. Okay. They're not unicorns. They're just men who have... Oh, dear. Rogan said that he's not even remotely homophobic, adding, I'm the opposite. I wish I was. I can see why so many people are trying to get this guy cancelled. He's hilarious. They got no funny bone in their body. Earlier in the special, Rogan talked about his skepticism, being a skeptic nowadays. Oh, that's evil. That's wrong. Of the COVID-19 vaccine. And also Joe Rogan went viral and the mainstream media tried to cancel him yet again for his, ivermectin and other protocols that he did in line with that. And they didn't like it. It was during the whole COVID madness period that we haven't forgotten about. Before COVID, I would have told you that vaccines are the most important invention in human history. After COVID, I'm like, I don't think we went to the moon. I think Michelle Obama's got a dick. I think Pizzagate is real. I think there's direct energy weapons in Antarctica. So all the conspiracy theories that people are popping up, he's going, after COVID, I now believe it all. It's all true now. After the audience laughed, Rogan added, I'm just kidding. I don't think Michelle Obama's got a dick, but I believe all of that other SHIT. Rogan confessed that he might have played a part in spreading vaccine misinformation, but he doesn't care. What even is considered vaccine misinformation nowadays? Like, I don't even know, because the ones that claim to have the actual information, that information changes like a drop of a hat. Like, it's constantly fluid, right? The goalposts are always changing. So I don't think Joe Rogan spread any misinformation. If I'm being honest, I think the ones that spread the most misinformation were the actual people trying to force the information down your throat in the first place to get the damn thing. So I don't care either if I've spread vaccine misinformation. I don't think I have. Here's my take on that. Sincerely, if you're getting your vaccine advice from me, is that really my fault? He said, that's not my job, kids. I'm a professional SHIT talker. Some of the things I say make sense. A lot of them don't. It's up to you to figure out what's what. That's the fun part. Oh my goodness. Joe, you're a brilliant man. Thank you for, talking some sense. You're adults. You can make adult decisions. Doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to make the right decisions or the wise decisions, but nevertheless, you can make up your own bloody mind. You don't need people to spoon feed you everything. Burn the Boats is Rogan's first comedy special in 6 years. It was shot live in the Majestic Theater in San Antonio, Texas. His previous Netflix comedy special or specials are Joe Rogan, Strange Times. Oh, indeed. We thought Strange Times back in 2018. It's even stranger in 2024. And Joe Rogan, Triggered in 2016. In recent years, Rogan's best known for his popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, which has drawn criticism and controversy for his COVID-19 misinformation and anti-vaccine statements. You don't hate the mainstream media enough, do you? Rogan has also faced backlash over the use of the N-word in other older episodes of his podcast and his comments on transgender people. So also, Joe has faced a great deal of backlash for his comments on the transgender people. The Post was also told that some Spotify staffers were antagonized by his 2023 comments on Jews, including saying the idea that Jewish people don't like money is ridiculous. That's like saying Italians aren't into pizza. It's Evan stupid. Oh boy, Burn the Boats is on Netflix right now. I mean, is there such a thing? I know we hate the mainstream media, but is there such a thing as, bad publicity? Because they're pointing to his comedy special. So people are obviously going to go and now watch it to think or form an opinion for themselves. At least you hope so. But anyway, Joe, well done, mate. Appreciate you and your stuff. You guys take care. You be blessed. And I'll see you all in the next video.